Welcome to the mind of Stony Face Entertainment. Hey Gus, hope you're doing good. I want to hear your thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, this was probably every Spider-Man fan's dream of a movie, at least over the past 2 decades or so. A little over the past 2 decades. This is pretty solid. I love uh pretty solid. I would I'm ranking this one for this movie. My recommendation is from very unlikely, unlikely, likely, and very likely. Unlikely to recommend this movie. So starting off with a negative and going to a positive. I think for what we're looking for, uh, it gets the job done. the The main point of this movie, it gets the job done. It's something that was done masterfully and really well, and really lifts the movie, and it's really enjoyable. But really enjoyable. The things that I think it could have improved on were how Peter was written, and when he's not with his friends, like what's her name, like with MJ and Ned. And I feel like they could have, the writing was predictable. Like, it was, let's just be honest, it was predictable, more predictable than actually no, yeah, it's more one of the most predictable movies in the MCU. Like, it kind of took away from it for a bit, and I feel like the writing could have been better there. I feel like I'm tired of what the. I feel like the Peter should outgrow some qualities in the way they write him, which I'll get into more detail in the spoiler section. But yeah, but yeah, obviously, just to keep it short, it gets the job done for what it's supposed to be and what we hope it to be. So I'm likely to recommend it based on my opinion. So let me know if you've seen it yet, and if you have and you see a spoiler section, because the comments might be full of spoilers, let me know what your feedback is. So on to the spoilers about.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The following segments contain spoilers. The opinions expressed are that of the commenter. Please feel free to have your own opinions and share and discuss them in the comment section.
Gus, I need to get your feedback on this, because this movie, let's just keep the nerd stuff out of the way. So I love. I'm so pumped by the Daredevil cameo. Like, that's so exciting. Like, the possibility of seeing the Defenders with the Avengers, like, and then the X-Men probably coming in later. The potential, if they execute it well, is is top tier, absolutely top tier. Uh, the nostalgia, they didn't disappoint. This, they could have easily botched this. We've seen all these movies try to get quick grabs and not like fully explore their properties and things like that. But they didn't do that here. This, what you're hoping for, seeing the Spider Mans together was perfect. The villains were nice, although I feel like some of the dialogue could have been better with the villains. Like Jamie's character, like maybe besides 3 or 4 of his lines, but kind of I was like, man, all right, whatever. Because I was super excited for him because Jimmy Fox is probably one of my favorite actors. No, it's not probably. He is one of my favorite actors. But it's serviceable. Okay, so story. So what I was talking about with the writing of Peter is, they a lot of times what writers would do, at least in mainstream movies, is when they're trying to remind us that the characters are younger. I mean, are on the younger end, like pre-teen, or I mean teenager. They mid Just a teenager. They write them clueless, in this like clueless, mindless way, which isn't the case for all kids. I know it's like generally can be perceived that way, but it's not the case for everybody. Some teenagers are more mature. Some people teenagers are clueless, like how we see in the movies and stuff like that. But the amount of times I let that slide in the first one, it made sense, especially considering how young he was and everything. But after, you gotta think, after fighting Thanos in space, dying, uh, being in a relationship, which I feel they did a great job having MJ and Peter's relationship in here and their dynamic and how much influence they have on each other. They didn't overdo it. I think it was well done. Um, and yeah, so fighting in space against Thanos, dying, and what he just went through with Mysterio, you think like he would have grown at least some from that. Like, because there's lots of things in life where one event happens or you experience it and it changes your behavior going forward. Those are just three major events that happened, not even including Uncle Ben and Tony dying. Like, that's five events. Six if include his parents and having to deal with that, where he should have been able by this point being mature enough to look for universities, which I went through myself trying to go to university with friends, so I can relate to that. But like trying to go to university, that he'd have some kind of development personality wise by then. Not like, and I'm speaking particularly about like the scene with him and Doctor Strange. I'll give him a pass on the first time, remembering during him casting the spell that he would ask to include MJ. But after that, your brain already starting to think, is there anyone else I should include? And then you go immediately Ned, uh, the Avengers, Aunt May, and Happy. That should have flowed after the first one, like MJ, my girlfriend. Then those should have come. That was just like, that was annoying to me. I get it was used as a plot device. So for the story integration purpose of the story uh, criteria, it works. Like it, it's woven in the story, but it's just annoying and it's super predictable. Uh, Getting the villains was pretty dope. Like getting Electro and the Sandman and all of that, that was pretty fire. This what they did really well in this story is writing the relationships between all the characters. The relationships, the way that people everyone interacted with each other, like felt real, felt organic, and it wasn't over the top like the relationship stuff. Like I was saying, I mean Ned could dial down the I knew he was Spider-Man first thing, but other than that, the character I really felt all of the connections, even with the villains. But oh, a major plot hole for me was how they treated Green Goblin, because just logically, if you know this guy's a villain, and he himself, you saw him on the highway, he himself tells you he doesn't know when he turns into that guy, and he blacks out when he turns into that guy, and you saw what he could do. He's even afraid of himself. Like, I get you want to help him, but you have to proceed with some caution. Because especially after what he just went with Mysterio, it would have made sense if he was just like how he went to give up. He was like, over sensitive to how he was treating Green Goblin. He should have still kept an eye on him. So I feel like that was a major hit on the story for me. Continuing on the overprotective thought, taking taking the villains to slash Happy's place slash the safe house. I mean, come on. Like, first off, the safe. People always talk about DC heroes. Just think about this for a second. You're bringing six, not one, six to attempt to uh, heal them if they even want to be healed, as we saw with Electro. And you're doing this based on good faith. You already saw what the damage it could do, and you're bringing these people to an apartment complex, a huge apartment complex, past shield safety, like the security, and you're giving them direct access to Tony's materializer. Like, even even any nobody would want to bring that to their home. Like that alone, like even if Green Goblin were to be the nice guy he was the entire movie, like that alone is kind of dumb in general. That's way too trusting. There's something to be good faith, but within reason. Like, come on now. Like, could maybe take them down to another safe house, maybe, and then he's strong enough to carry the device. Maybe find a way to transfer the device to using the Doctor Strange thing to teleport it, or maybe, or even just taking an Uber or a van or something and taking it to a different disclosed location. So if things go off, at least you can kind of manage it. You can kind of hone it in. I mean, like, especially as someone who watches a lot of movies like him, like their movies, that would be a thought that would come up. So that was, I get it helps the story, but that was kind of dumb. That was dumb in that situation. Even for Peter, who we know him as at this point. I know they're gonna mature him, but Peter could have even helped them in the center. He didn't even need to move them, and they're already there. I guess maybe a change of location shows trust. That kind of like, hey, trust me. I'm putting myself on the line here. But either way, Doctor Strange was gonna find him once he got free. So might as well just done this interim. Would have probably been simpler too. Less casualties. Yeah, the movie was predictable, like I said in the non-spoiler section. May dying was pretty obvious, and honestly, like, oh yeah, quick side note before I get to that, he could have also told May happy that his secret was revealed sooner, because like even when he blocked all the blinds and everything like that, and he was staying there, he was trying to distract them. He should have. They already know who you are. Like at this point, their lives are in danger too. Like literally, they're in your home with the helicopters outside. Hey, I messed up. I don't want to mess up anymore. I need more than I already have. This is what happened. Please help me, kind of situation. But again, they're going with the clueless young Peter and go there, so that didn't happen. But back to the May situation, it was so predictable she was about to die, especially when like the glider went out and it's like run, run, May, run, oh, what? And then how many heroes support systems have to die? Like he can still be Peter with May being alive, like, and then the great power comes great responsibility. Like, and like her death and the didn't even affect me because one, it was predictable, and two, she was barely in these movies. She was in these movies for like 5, 15 minutes and she was out. Most of the discussion of her character was who she was going to date. Was it going to be Tony at first, and then oh how long she's with Happy. Like she's even barely in these movies to make a connection. Uh, Besides Peter talking about her once in a while, to have an actual connection, to be sad that she died. So like the death wasn't didn't really do much for me. Like besides from giving him a reason to beat up Green Goblin, which I forgot what movie I've seen it in, but I'm sure we've seen a superhero do that where he's gone completely rogue, want to kill someone. But like, so for the story integration purposes, they did a great job tying everything in. But those story holes were pretty glaring to me. The directing. Okay, so I was talking about the quality of the story. Directing is talking about story being told in a unifying, unique, cohesive, clear, distinctive style and tone. Relational dynamics are believable. I already said that was pretty good. So as far as directing goes, you already know how I feel about the story. So for the directing, I'm gonna give that a 10. I feel like there was a great job. I already said the characters were pretty solid there. No, were believable for the most part. Mm, okay, so story integration. So I feel like it resonated for most part, especially the nostalgia elements and things like that. So I'm gonna give the integration a 8.5. I'm gonna give the story again being so lack lackadaisical or lackadaisy, whatever the term is, with Green Goblin's major hit. How clueless he behaves to start the whole thing off. It's a major hit. And May. It's not really inventive, not really fresh, but it was masterfully woven. The dialogue was serviceable. Characters are compelling distinction. I'll give this a 11 because it could have been better, but it was pretty solid. But those two major plot, those 3 points really took it off for me. And then cinematography, it's a Marvel movie, that's a 10. Editor, that's a 10. Costume design, I wasn't feeling the gold on black. And I don't know about the new suit at the end, so that one let's see. I wasn't feeling the end look for Electro, that wasn't looking that great. So I'll give this one an 8. Let's see, music. I didn't really notice it that much, so it was probably solid. I don't think there was any old school songs like Marvel's been doing recently anyway, so I'm gonna just give that one a 10. Actually, I'm gonna give that one a 8.5. I kind of felt, I remember there was a moment where I was kind of like, yeah, this, I'm not feeling this beat. But sound design, that's a 10. Acting, you already know with what they have. Oh yeah, but the Peter part, and the I'm may happy like, are we dating, are we not dating? Give that a 9. Because for the categories relational dynamics are strong and believable. They were strong, but believable was kind of pushing it for me. And the caring part, it's kind of pushing me for, so I'll give it a 9. Okay, so let's total it up. So I forgot to say this at the beginning, but these I'm not really good at rating things. Don't really care about rating. I'm more about how a movie made me feel and what I took away from it. So don't take these points seriously. It's like whose line or half the things in life. It just doesn't matter, right? So my total score is 85, and like I said in the non spoilery part, I'm likely to recommend this. All right, so now we get to our suggestions for reshoot. Like trying not to make major suggestions like firing someone or something like that, but something that they could reshoot to make this movie better. Because the movie we saw was for us to test audience, so we could give our feedback and our recommendations. So I don't really have much for this. It was pretty solid for the most part. But I would recommend that they write Peter a little bit more mature. He doesn't have to be a scholar, but not completely clueless. Like I said, he's gone through the Mysterio thing recently. I know he's trying to move past that, and he's struggling with that. But he fought Thanos in spades. He's finally the girl of his dreams so far, at least. Like he's gone through a lot of tragic situations, losing Tony, Uncle Ben. Like just make him show those major experiences affect on him. Like let it not just be him pushing people away or trying to do the things he already did in Far From Home, where he was trying to live a normal life, push things away. Like you're basically doing a version of that. Also, side note: the stabbing of Peter of Goblin, that was pretty predictable. That was coming a mile late and pretty pointless in the end. But I'm indifferent on that one. All right, okay, back to my recommendations. So don't kill Aunt May. Let Aunt May live. Her death didn't really do that much besides make him angry, but he's gonna heal from that. And also, it wasn't entirely his fault. It was also Aunt May's fault. It's 50-50. Yes, he went along with it, but also everything that happened was both of their faults. Just want to put that out there. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Mickey could treat the, like I said, treat the villains somewhere else, bring the device there, and monitor Green Goblin. Don't be so loose and free with him. And then, funny how Ned was able to learn the thing that took them years, like the skill took all the sorcerers years to learn, but it makes sense. So at least they make him too skilled with it, so that's fair. And yeah, tell May and Happy straight up from the beginning once you sit them down. And yeah, I think that will help eliminate some of the predictability from the movie. But I want to know your feedback and your recommendation, Gus. So let me know in the comment section, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace and out.